final part of like CX when the ringer goes off, you should be flowing and prepping at the same time.
So what say you don't have to flow?
Yeah, you don't flow the 2 and C. You don't need to flow the 2 and C. You shouldn't even be listening to the 2 and C. Right? You're doing your own thing. Okay? Now, if you can develop that skill to listen to the 2 and C and prep your speech, that's great. In a lot of instances, you're going to be done prepping your speech before the 2 and C is over. You're not going to need to take the full amount of time. Right? You're done, you've looked at it, you're ready to go, and usually by the end of the 2 and C, you're rock solid because it doesn't necessarily take you. But if it does take you that full amount, that's fine too. That's what it's there for. And you can go for complex arguments because there's no cross-examination to clarify what you mean. I'm a firm believer that theory should always be taken by the one and R. Always. Now, that means that you need to be a good theory debater. So I suggest going to some of the theory electives or asking questions to your lab leaders, trying to become better theory debaters. Because if you can get good on theory, then you're going to win a lot of debates because you'll be taking it and you'll have a lot of time to scrutinize. Because what is the 2AC going to do? The 2AC is going to read a block, right? And most debaters, 2 and Cs that go for theory, they're going to read their block right after them. And it's going to waste time because a lot of times you don't need all of those arguments. 2 or 3 arguments will answer the entire block, the theory block that they've read. You get to make those distinctions. You get to answer their fairness claims. You have a lot of time to think about their education standard. You have a lot of time to think about why multiple worlds are a good idea and not just have a block, which also makes it more persuasive. You're starting to see how the 1 and R is probably the biggest hammer for the negative in the debate. A great 1 and R is devastating to the 1 and R. Devastating. A couple other things I want to talk about. Once the 1 and R is done, I know we're getting close, we got 7 minutes. Once the 1 and R is done, are you done? No. Always be flowing. Continue to flow the debate. Continue to flow the debate. Even if the 2 and C doesn't go for your arguments. Flow the 1 and R. Because chances are, you're going to have to help your partner prep in the 2 and R. The 2 and R may hand you something, hey, I need this. Another thing that's helpful and that we used to do is if the 2 and C is going for my arguments, if you would ask me, hey, are you winning this argument? And I'd be like, yeah, we're winning this argument. He's like, okay, I'm going for it. Can you write me out an overview? Write out the overview. While he's prepping, you're writing out the overview of the 2 and R. Or if he's going for your arguments or she is going for your arguments and she knows most of it, there's a couple of complex arguments, you may have to fill that out for her, which means you get to write in longhand the answers. Here's your answer to, they say, impact turn, skipta causes conflict. Here's your evidence comparison and the reasons why your evidence is better and the reason why their warrant and their evidence isn't very good and it's empirically disproven and the reason why your evidence is predictive of the status quo and their evidence is just descriptive. You get to make all those, and then when your partner gets ready to get to that argument, you just hand it to them and they just read it. It makes them sound better, and you've already thought about that argument and you've had 3 or 4 minutes to get to it before your partner gets to it. Right? So you're always engaged in the debate. People say the 1 and R has the easiest job in the debate because they get to read the 1 and C, which doesn't rely on a lot of critical thinking because you get to read some dispatch shells and you've got some cards on the case, and then you get the 1 and R, which the 2 and C probably never goes for. That the 1 N has the easiest job in the debate. I disagree because I think that a powerful 1 and R guarantees victory because either you'll win your arguments outright or you'll put so much time pressure on the 1AR that there will be undercoverage and your partner will capitalize on what the 1AR undercovers. Work with your partner. Make sure you work with your partner. Make sure your partner works with you. A lot of that is you have to have a mutual respect for each other. That your 2&C can rely on you to do what you need to do to win the debate. Become good friends with your debate partner. Trust each other. You trust them, they trust you, you're going to win more debates on the negative. Does anybody have any questions about 1ARs?
I've been told by a couple coaches that, like, say you go like straight T in the 1R, and then the 1AR like overcovers the T, and like does and undercovers the 2&C. Like, is that like
Awesome.
it's like the backwards?
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Because you've done such a good job on T that maybe they're thinking they're not toppable, and you've forced the 1AR to spend more time on T and undercover the 2&C. What is the 2&C going to go for? Not go for your arguments, but go for their own arguments. But what caused that? Your 1AR, right? Your 1AR.
And should you, like, say you're answering the dissed, would you structure it the same way that you would structure a 2&C?
Yes.
Content?
Yeah. It is, think of the 1AR as an extension of the 2&C. It's a mini 2&C. So you're going to debate it just like you would a 2&C. Except you have less time, but more prep time. And if they don't make that many answers, write all of your answers out in longhand. Write whole speeches, write them out in longhand. You're going to sound better, you're going to be more persuasive, you're going to make the correct answers, you've scrutinized their evidence, you've done everything you can to make the 2&C go for your arguments. You're not there to fill in a speaker position. You're not there to fill in time. You're there to try to win the debate. How do you do that? You win your argument outright. And you should, because you have so much prep time. You have so much prep time. You know? And don't be afraid to tell the 2&C, hey, I can go for that dissad and win it. I can go for the dissad. I'm quick enough, and I'm efficient enough where I can go for that counterpoint and the dissad in 5 minutes and still win it. And if I can't win it, I'll put enough pressure on the 1AR, so whatever you're going for, the K that you're going for, or the T argument you're going for in the 2&C, that they're going to be forced to cover my arguments, which spreads the 1AR thin, which makes it easy to pick them off in the 2AR. Does it make sense? 1AR is powerful, people. Powerful, and it is always, always overlooked. So I hope you learned something about the 1AR. Go back, put these things into practice. If you know what you need to get good on, I really recommend getting good on theory. If you can do that, you're going to help out the 2&C immensely, because the prepping theory takes so long to do. You're going to save your partner prep time, and you're going to get good enough on your arguments that the 2&C will have to say, hey, talk to me a little bit about this dissad you're going for, and this little link argument you're making. It seems kind of tricky. I'm going to go for your argument. Right? That's what every 1AR wants to hear, right? Stand up in the 2&C and say, I'm going to kick out of the argument that I went for and go for what my partner said, because my partner just beat you down. Right? That's the goal. But there are other goals. My partner covered their argument so adequately that the 1AR was forced to spend more time than they wanted to, and they undercovered my arguments. Or they overcovered the 1AR arguments because my 1AR was so good that I'm going to go for what I went for in the 2&C because my 1AR just blew you out of the water. Right? offense, offense, offense. Any other questions?
What do you recommend, like, if you Maverick, is it the same,
If you're what?
if you're a Maverick?
If you're a Maverick,
TKM. Doesn't work.
yeah, I mean, you could do the same. It's difficult. You're going to be forced to spend prep time. You know, you can try. I've known some extremely good debaters who have been debating and prepping their 1NR at the same time. I've seen it happen. That is very rare. But if you're Maverick, you could, I guess you could always waive the 1NR, stand up and then say something and then sit down because you've covered it all in your T&C. That shouldn't occur very often, being Maverick.
Oh, no.
You still be good Maverick.
That's what you did the whole season. You're just going to have to find out what works for you. Find out what works for you. You know, you could, theoretically, you could put the arguments you really want to go for in the 1NR so you can avoid cross-ex questions.
That was part of the problem, like, when I realized, like, when they asked something in cross-ex, then I decided to do prep time for the 1NR because it's like something they asked. So.
Yeah. The fact that there's no cross-ex to the 1NR is a huge advantage for the 1NR. Huge advantage. All right, thank you for listening. I know the other lecture started 2 minutes ago, but I'm sure they're waiting on you, and I hope you learned something. Thanks.